Hello and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick and I'm here with Lieutenant Jordan Shekels, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Jordan, how are you?
I'm great.
You're a lieutenant now.
I am.
See, I knew you when you were a sergeant. That was like you were a little kid then.
I was.
So you guys been busy this week, right?
We have.
Okay, so let's take a look at the count. What do you got?
We arrested 3 for a total of 5,205 people.
5,205 people since this show was created somewhat 20 some odd years ago, a long time ago. Now you guys have got some construction going on at the jail, right? You work in the jail, you're a lieutenant, corrections lieutenant, right?
Yep.
So what are you adding?
We are upgrading the booking office along with eventually the kitchen. We're adding a medical unit.
So that's going to help provide more efficient services?
Yes. The medical wing especially, it's adding, I think, approximately 40 beds to the jail.
Wow, and that's going to be medical beds and mental health beds, right?
Correct.
How big a problem is mental health in the jail?
A major problem.
Big problem, right?
Yeah.
How many inmates do you have maybe today, do you know?
Roughly 400.
And over half of them probably have a severe mental illness, right?
Some kind of mental illness, yes.
Okay. All right, Jordan, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we have a really special guest for you here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Our lineup brought to you this week by Abe's Ace Bail Bonds. Abe's Ace Bail Bonds located in Heflin and Cleburne County, that number 256-463-1824. And in Calhoun County, 256-831-0074. First up in our lineup this week, Tommy Strickland. Mr. Strickland, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for possession of a controlled substance. And this is Corey Davis. Mr. Davis, last known to be living in Oxford, he is wanted for possession of a controlled substance ×3. And take a look at Colby Hurd. Mr. Hurd, last known to be living in Anniston, wanted for identity theft. This is Thomas Hale Jr. Mr. Hale, last known to be living in Piedmont, he's wanted on possession of a controlled substance. And meet Jason Deese Sr. Mr. Deese, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for possession and manufacturing of a destructive bioweapon. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in the first half of the lineup. You might know where they are. If you do, call the sheriff's office, call Crime Stoppers, call Lieutenant Jordan Shekels. You call, she hauls. Or maybe you'll just take care of them when you get there. All right.
Either one.
Either one. We are here with Bre Steele, the coolest last name in the world. Bre Steele. And you have some elaborately long title with the Extension Office. So why don't you tell us what your title is?
I am the Urban Regional Extension Agent for Family Development and Personal Finance. I do cover St. Clair County, Calhoun County, and Etowah County. And today we're going to be talking about our Successful Aging Initiative Conference.
So you need an acronym for that title, though.
UREA.
UREA.
Mm-hmm.
UREA. Urea.
That's why we spell it out.
Probably a good thing. Okay, so you're with the Extension Office and the Area Council. What is that? No, what are you? Talk about the aging
I am
thing.
with Alabama Extension, and I am in charge of planning Successful Aging Initiative Conference.
That's what I was looking for.
And this year's theme is the ABCs of aging.
Okay, so what exactly does that cover?
So this is for any senior citizen, caregiver, anybody that really deals with senior citizens, anybody that's preparing for aging. We're going to have the ABCs of Aging this year, which is Ask the Experts. We're going to have bingo and fun, and then we're also going to have a little bit of a talk about self-care.
Excellent, right? I'm talking there, aren't I?
You are.
I'm speaking.
You're our keynote speaker for
I'm
lunch.
the keynote speaker for lunch. You going to be there?
I'll do my best to be there.
Because you're aging.
You're aging quicker than me.
Oh, I'm not aging any quicker. I just started earlier.
Well, either one.
Okay, so our population is ever increasingly older.
Mm-hmm.
We have more people living into their 90s and even into their early 100s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So care for our elders is a very critical issue. So there are going to be vendors there to talk about
There
it?
is going to be vendors. We do have, so far, medical supply companies. We have long-term care facilities, home health agencies, travel agency, funeral homes, and then Legacy of Hope is the only organ donation center for the state of Alabama, and they will also be set up.
That's a big deal, organ donation. So my understanding is if you are an organ donor and they harvest what they're going to harvest, that what's the nonprofit that handles that?
It'll be the Legacy of Hope.
Okay, so those folks arrange so that your loved one's body is taken care of for free. So they'll cremate it, or they will do what they need to do for the funeral home and then send it to where it needs to go. All for free because you're an organ donor. Is that still correct?
I'm actually hoping to learn more about this through them at the site.
That's what I remember having to do for a loved one, and yeah, they cremated the remains, and we had to do what we did with that. But that was a huge benefit to organ donation, not just the benefit to the people that received those organs. So it's a complicated issue. I've even talked to some folks that, they're just getting into their 60s and they're like, I need to be thinking about going to a independent living place. I'm like, well, hang on, you're healthy right now. And they're like, well, I should be healthy when I go there. And maybe you want to think about that. So this would be the kind of place where you can get those answers, right?
And that's the reason why we're having that Q&A panel for home health, and then we're going to have a Q&A panel for those long-term care facilities, so that people can see what's the difference and how do they benefit them as well.
That's a good discussion. And Alabama's a great place to retire. So we have a lot of older folks coming down here to retire, and we're seeing an increase in our continuing care facilities. Of course, we have several here, NHC and Autumn Cove, and I was just at a ribbon cutting for Caroline in Lincoln.
Caroline Oaks.
Caroline Oaks in Lincoln. They just about to open.
And then they got the location in Heflin as well.
Right, and they have a memory care. As you get older, you forget things.
And several of those will be set up as vendors and or speaking on the panel.
Really? Okay, okay, when is this?
It is October the 26th. It starts at 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It will be held at the Anniston Meeting Center, and you need to register by October 2nd. To register, call 256-237-1621, and that's the Calhoun County Extension Office.
And it doesn't cost anything to register?
It does not cost anything, and lunch will be provided.
You get a free lunch, Jordan.
What's that supposed to mean?
That's the reason you
You
should
like
go.
lunch?
You
I
like lunch, don't
I
you?
love lunch.
Okay, well, it's free. Save you some money. Right?
It's always good.
Is that always good?
It's always
You got a
good.
growing family.
I do have a growing family.
Yeah.
They like to eat.
They do like to eat. All right, so at the Anniston City Meeting Center. Okay. I'm talking from 11 to 12, aren't I?
You are.
So I'm like the last thing before they get to go home.
Before they get to play bingo.
Bingo! Wow. Is this like a money bingo?
There will be prizes. I cannot guarantee what prizes will be given
Door
out.
prizes, okay. Bingo's an interesting thing.
It is.
It is. Well, that'll be fun. And are people, so the old folks that are coming, are they being brought to us from some of these independent living facilities?
They have been invited. Anybody is invited, whether you're church groups, we've invited them, senior citizens, basically anybody that's aging, anybody that's dealing with these issues currently, anybody that's a caregiver is welcome to attend.
It's outstanding, and we'll be talking about caregiver self-care and the financing that goes along with that kind of period of life. You're thinking about, what do I do in my will? Do I set up a trust? Do I have an estate? What do I do? Are there going to be lawyers there talking about that?
There is, and then that is also goes into my programs that I'll be talking with you in a minute.
Finance, that's right. We'll talk about that after the break. And it might be a good time for a break. Is this a good time for a break? Well, we'll break anyway. So we're going to be back with the second half of the lineup and more from our very important guest, Bre Steele, here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Tamula Shekels. Miss Shekels, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for possession of a forged instrument. And this is Christopher House. Mr. House, last known to be living in Jacksonville. He's wanted for possession of a controlled substance. And meet Ernest Creel III, Mr. Creel, last known to be living in Oxford. He's wanted on possession of a controlled substance. This is Wilson Hazelwood, Mr. Hazelwood, last known to be living in Oxford, wanted for receiving stolen property first. Take a look at Camilla Perkley, Miss Perkey, last known to be living in Piedmont. She's wanted for possession of a forged instrument second. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you have any information on these cases or the whereabouts of these people, please call Crime Stoppers. That number 1-833-251-7867. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup. You might know where they are. If you do, call the Sheriff's Office, call Crime Stoppers. You call, they haul. We are here with Bre Steele from the extension, that long title, UREA, right? Something like that. And we were talking about the ABCs of aging, the conference, the thing that's coming up. But you are in charge of several other programs with the extension. So when we went to break, we were talking about trust and estates and that kind of stuff. So let's talk a little bit about that program.
So not only do I do a Successful Aging Initiative Conference once a year, I also have different programs that's year round, and I can actually come to them and do these programs out in the community.
So when you say that, can you come to somebody's house and talk about that, or are you talking about like going to a church?
Preferably due to safety, you know, fast food restaurants, churches, any type of groups that is welcoming me to come in.
So if they have a church group or a social group or something like that, like Jordan, she's got a Friends of Dogs group, and that she does, and they can invite people. They can invite you to come and talk about stuff like that.
Yes.
Right? Okay, that's really good. So what should, I guess the interesting question is, when in our lifespan should we be thinking about setting up our finances for our children, to set up for a will or
I'm fixing to
estate?
put you on the spot.
Ah, okay.
So estate planning basics was one of them we had talked about, and this goes over important papers and documents. I give you a booklet, living will versus will, and trust as well. But I got a question. So you asked about age. Does a bird have an estate? If you think about it.
Does a bird have an estate? I don't think so.
I'm going to say no.
No.
So a bird technically has an estate. It's baby birds, it's guardianship, its feathers is its personal property, its nest is its real property. So if a bird has an estate, then anybody needs to do estate planning. It's for rich and poor, it's for young and old. So it's really for anybody.
See, I have some estate planning going on. Do you?
I do not.
You probably should.
Am I in your estate?
No.
Oh.
Do you want to be?
If you're offering.
You're giving away money.
No. So, at what age, I guess what you're saying is that we should always be thinking about that.
You should always be thinking about
regardless of your
it.
stage of life. Okay. And so there's estate planning, and there's setting up your will.
And then I also do consumer education for seniors. So we cover the fraud and scams. We cover fall prevention, fall recovery. We cover healthy aging, as well as the consumer decision making.
And that's a big deal. Fraud in the elder community is huge.
Huge.
What's the biggest fraud going on now, do you know?
I actually saw an interesting yesterday from the police department in Fort Payne. And it was basically somebody had sent them an email saying they have a ticket that they need to pay. And of course, that's a scam. You know, always be careful. Never give out your personal information, whether it be by phone, email, or even in person.
Yeah, don't do that. And as far as law enforcement goes, we don't call you to tell you we have a warrant. We'll knock on your door. None of that stuff. So don't be giving out information. But yeah, scams are big, and email scams for the old community. They like to ask for donations, and they may be legitimate organizations, but elders are just so susceptible to just wanting to give money away. They think it's important. They fall for that.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Especially with the holiday season coming up.
Right.
Be extremely careful.
And so we're talking about fraud, and what was the other one you were
Fall
talking?
prevention.
Fall prevention. We're all about, well, you're young. When we get to a certain age, like Sparky's age, when you get to be Sparky's age, you're one fall away from being in continuing care. Mostly you start getting in your 80s, certainly in your 90s. It's just one trip, one fall.
Did you
And
know that falls is the leading cause of death, disability, and injury in older adults?
I didn't know that. I'm not surprised. At what age does that start, do you know?
I'm thinking that study was on like 55 and up, but I'm not for sure.
Be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Well, I mean, it's true, though. We're all just one fall away from some serious health problems. Yeah, broken hip is the classic example of, you break a hip and next thing you know, you're dying. That's terrible.
Yeah. And that's another reason, we added in that fall recovery part of this series, is just so people know how to get up in case they do fall.
Oh, well, that is important. So you come teach that to these, you show people how to do that.
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive. Because it's hard to get up. Well, I'm
It
serious.
is.
You
It
fall
really
by
is.
yourself. My mother used to fall, and she'd be by herself. And my dad would come home, and she'd be laying there in the garage waiting for somebody to come pick her up. Yeah, so being able to pick yourself up is important. Modifying your house so that you have ramps or things to grab onto as you get older. Maybe consider moving if you're living in a 2-story house. Is that something? Do you help people with that kind of planning?
We do, and we do have a worksheet, that goes over things that you need to watch for. It goes over things, the risk factors, because, there's 3 different categories of risk factors. We got our biological, we got our environmental, as well as the other one as well.
Okay. Well, gosh, so all of this is at the Extension office, right? The Extension office does a lot of stuff. You ever use the Extension office?
I think so.
What other stuff do they do outside of your area? The Extension
Besides my area, because I also do financial classes and I do career preparedness, but outside of my area, we do food safety and quality, Surf Safe, we do nutrition classes, we have a program for diabetes awareness, we do agriculture, whether that be your farming, whether that be your poultry farming, we do home gardens, home pest, we do a lot.
There's a lot of stuff going on at the Extension office. Well, we appreciate you being with us, Bre. And for people that want to learn more about the Extension office, just go visit their website or go down to the County Commission. You guys are still in the County Commission building?
We're still in that building.
Yep, go to the County Commission building and check them out. And stay with us because we're going to have the Crime Stoppers portion of the show, and Jordan's going to tell us all about the crazy criminal here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask your help on the following cases. First up, sometime between February 1st, 2023 and September 18th, some buildings were broken into on Collins Road in Ohatchee. An unknown amount of hand and power tools, tin, wire, and timber were all stolen from that location. And between September 14th and September 20th, a residence was burglarized on Rock Springs Road in Ohatchee. They got away with a Kawasaki KX4 50F motocross bike, various wall clocks, a black Century safe, gun safe, several electric guitars, assorted watches, knives, and coins, and various firearms and jewelry were stolen from there. And on September 22nd, a black 2006 Honda TRS 700 XX Sport Trax was stolen from a residence on Vineyard Road in Alexandria. That's it for the Crime Stoppers cases. If you have any information on these cases, please call Crime Stoppers. That number 1-833-251-7867.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, Jordan, so we're going to be talking about the crazy criminal here now. I know you work out, right?
I don't work out.
You don't work out?
No.
You don't go to the gym?
No, I go to lunch.
Your husband goes to the gym. You know people that go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You ever been to a gym in Massachusetts?
I have not.
Apparently, they do nasty things when they come out of the gym in Massachusetts. Why don't you tell us about this guy?
So this is 34-year-old Eric Stagno. He is from Massachusetts. He was charged with indecent exposure, lewdness, and disorderly conduct after he stripped naked before working out in a gym because he thought it was a judgment-free zone.
Judgment-free. So he was obviously insecure in something and figured he could work out naked. Naked workouts. That sounds like something they'd have maybe at the beach. I don't know.
What beach? did
I
you
don't
go
know,
to?
like
Okay.
naked beaches.
Okay.
That's weird. That's weird. So indecent exposure, lewdness. Right. We got people in the jail on those charges?
We do.
But they didn't get naked working out, did they?
Not that I know of.
We have a gym at the sheriff's office, don't we?
We do.
We do not allow people to get naked there.
Nope, clothes are required.
Clothes are required. And it's good advice because gyms have sweaty equipment and you just don't, I don't know, you want to be exposed to that stuff.
I don't advise it.
Okay, now, you're hiring at the jail, right?
We are.
How many people are you hiring? As many as you can.
As many as I can get.
So, you know, we've had deputies on talking about how great it is to be a deputy, but we don't get a lot of corrections officers on here. So tell us quickly, why would I want to be a corrections officer?
I think it's a great place to start your law enforcement career. That was my original plan, but I ended up falling in love with the corrections aspect of it. So, but if you are looking to be a deputy or an investigator, it's a great place to start.
Great training ground, right?
It
You
is.
get to experience the people you'll be working with on the street, and you learn all kinds of great skills.
You do.
Because you pretty much have your voice
That is
to
true.
handle people. And you've been with the sheriff's office a while, right?
10 years.
10 years, so you're vested in that fancy retirement
I
program.
am vested.
Yeah, and you're a lieutenant. You started as a wee little corrections officer.
I did.
Just wandering around, lost, dazed and confused in the jail. Going, is this a key? I don't know. Yeah. Well, Lieutenant Jordan Shekels, thank you for being on the show with me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And it was great. And we look forward to seeing you folks again here next week, but hopefully not in the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.